G'day, I'm Stephen Frost from Go Blue. Do consumers care about sustainability? It's one of the big questions in fashion today. Do people actually factor it in when they buy clothes? Not-for-profit Fashion Revolution gave us an answer last week with the release of its consumer survey report. Based on interviews with 5,000 people in the 5 largest European markets, they asked 7 questions to see if people really do care about supply chain transparency, workplace conditions, and the environment. One of the major findings was that more than 1 in 3 people surveyed considered social and environmental impacts when buying clothes. Another was that 80% of people think fashion brands should disclose their manufacturers. Based on these and other similar findings, Fashion Revolution recommended fashion brands to do the following things: provide more social and environmental information to customers, prioritise and communicate social and environmental issues that people care about the most, and include more social and environmental data on packaging. Mostafis Uddin, the managing director of Denim Expert, a Bangladesh manufacturer, agreed. In an op-ed published in Bangladesh last week, he wrote, "In the past, the thought of who produced your garments and under what conditions never crossed to the consumer's mind, and was merely a secondary concern after price and style." Not everyone agrees. In The Myth of the Ethical Consumer, published in 2010, the authors argue price and style are still the main concerns. Survey radicals, they say, turn into economic conservatives at the checkout. But like Fashion Revolution, Mostafis Uddin thinks the time has come for brands to take action. Changing the buying habits of the end consumer is a duty that needs to be embraced by the brands and retailers. It should be their responsibility to communicate with their consumers and detail steps they are taking to produce ethically sourced products. All of which brings me to a new report by Tofugear and Rakuten Insight called The Digital Consumer in Asia. Why another report on what consumers think? Philip Wigenrad, head of research at Tofugear, puts it like this. Not a day goes by without a headline on how millennials and Gen Z consumers are radically different from their predecessors. Yet these are all too often focused on shoppers in the West, with an Asian perspective distinctly lacking. Tofugear and Rakuten Insight interviewed 6,000 consumers across 12 markets in Asia to see what differences there are. The Digital Consumer in Asia report is not concerned with sustainable fashion choices, but it was interested in loyalty. That is, can Asian consumers be convinced to become more loyal? In other words, what are the important drivers of consumers' purchasing decisions? Fashion Revolution's finding for Europe suggested sustainability is an important driver. Remember, more than 1 in 3 people surveyed considered social and environmental impacts when buying clothes. But is that the case in Asia? Not by a long shot. The Digital Consumer in Asia report says, the least popular way to foster loyalty between a customer and a brand were initiatives related to social responsibility and good causes. It goes on to note, this is perhaps disappointing as there has been a plethora of recent research pointing to the fact that shoppers prefer brands associated with good causes. Only 8% of those surveyed said social responsibility or supporting good causes would make them more loyal. 63% said they were more driven by special promotions and sales, and 59% said they were swayed by free shipping. So, do consumers care about sustainability? They may in Europe, but it seems they care significantly less in Asia. That's all from me today. Thanks for listening.